Jeff Smith, you are actually the first candidate to throw your hat in the ring for the upcoming Clarence Valley election to be held on Saturday, December the 4th, more than 18 months ago now. So you now have the honour of being our first guest on Clarence Media's Q&A with the candidates, so welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah.
So hopefully, third time lucky, we'll actually have an election before the end of the year and a new council sworn in for the first time since 2016. In the scheme of things, that's been quite a long time.
It has been it's a long time in waiting, but I'm a patient man, and I know, look, there's councillors that want to get out, they've had enough, and there's a lot of candidates who want to have a crack at it and get in and maybe make a difference, and I'm one of them.
All right, so yeah, there's plenty of calls in the community for fresh blood, and as you indicated, a number of current councillors won't be standing again. Do you think a fresh new direction will be good for the Clarence Valley?
Look, I'm talking to people, and yeah, there's an element of trust that's been lost, and the current crop of 9 councillors, there's only going to be 4 rerun, and I think it's just time. It's time for a change. And I've been talking to people, and they go, there's going to be at least 5 new faces, and they're going, good to see. The councillors that are in there, they've got other plans. They're getting tired. They're getting fatigued with it all, and it's a tough job, and I can see that. I've been to a couple of meetings and followed them on Zoom and on the various platforms, Facebook, etc. And it's a tough gig, but I'm keen. We're keen to have a go, and there's a whole bunch of new candidates keen to have a crack at this.
Excellent. So you're the proud owner of ice cream here in Grafton, inventor of the Jacaranda ice cream, a former president of the Jacaranda Festival. Tell us a little bit more about Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith came to Grafton as a young man 28 years ago. I was out of work for 8 months. My bum was hanging out of my pants. I was wearing thongs. I'd grown a beard. Very tough to get a job. Applied for 52 different jobs. Couldn't get a start anywhere. Finally cracked it with the then Grafton and District Business Enterprise Centre, run by John Pullinger. Still good friends with John. And away I went. It was like once I got a job, suddenly I had jobs. So I ended up having 3 different part-time jobs. There's been all sorts of things. I've done insurance salesman, I've done TAFE teaching, I've done house restoration work. There's been a whole string of stuff, and we've really settled in. And I'm telling you, I'm not moving back to Sydney. So happy to stay here.
Alrighty. And tell us, Jeff, in a nutshell, why you personally have decided to run for council.
Well, look, everyone I speak to, and myself included, we've all got our gripes with council. I know they try their best. They do a great job in certain areas, but other areas are a little bit lacking. Or I could see a new vision. This just needs some imagination and a bit of energy there. And I just want to replicate what I helped to achieve with the Jacaranda Festival. It was the same sort of. It was tired. It was going nowhere. It was going backwards very quickly. And myself and others, we've got enough people on board to change that and change it in a big way, and you saw the results in 2019. Look, I know the council area is a much more ambitious project. It's far bigger and complex than a Jacaranda Festival, but I think I've got something to add to it, and would love to be part of that team to take it into the next few years.
Alrighty. So you own a shop here in Prince Street, in Grafton CBD. What's your vision for the streetscape and future development of this area?
Look, I was part of a workshop a couple of months ago to help reinvigorate Prince Street. I'd love to see it become a destination. We came up with there was a whole bunch of plans. It was a two-day sit-down workshop, came up with a whole bunch of stuff. I'd like to see it become al fresco dining, quirky, imaginative shops, local theatre being played, opportunity for busking, opportunity for nightlife to return to Prince Street, and to take it away from just being a thoroughfare to being a destination. So looking forward to that. And of course that's going to require state government funding and grants and stuff, but at least the plans are on the table and we can start to move forward with this and just make something special for the people of Grafton and indeed the whole Clarence Valley again.
Do you think there's options to open up Prince Street, remove the barricade down the centre of the road, things like that?
Look, that was all part of this 2-day workshop. There was looking at different ways of parking, widening the footpaths, taking it down to 1 lane each way. There was a whole bunch of stuff came out, as well as shading. Shading was an issue. Access to Market Square was an issue as far as pedestrian crossings go. So all that was addressed. And if you want to have a look at the plan, it's pretty impressive. So looking forward to that. It's a longer term plan, but I think we can push that forward now. within the next couple of years.
Okay, and what about RV parking in the CBD as well? That's been an issue as well.
Definitely needed. You've got a large parking area over the back of the Saracen and behind the library there. I think that can be re-looked at as some sort of RV parking. There's areas, there's space here and there, but just needs a bit of a rethink and an overview and some vision, really, with regards to that.
And I also know that one of your pet peeves about Grafton, I guess, is the tidiness of the area.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a grotty look. I spent a lot of time in Prince Street here, and there's council signs that are peeling. There's a bit of a grotty footpath look. There's garbage and stuff, and it's embarrassing when you have visitors come and they go, gee, this is not the tidy town of old. So like shopkeepers, they do their best, but really we just need a bit of help and just a bit of an attention to detail, a little bit of a repaint here and there, and just the parks and gardens immaculate. They do a great job, but we fall short a little bit on some of the areas, like just that attention to detail.
Okay. About half of your constituents are in the lower Clarence.
Mm-hmm.
What are the issues at the forefront of your mind in that area?
Look, one, talking to people is the development of Yamba and where that's going. I personally like Yamba's popular because of the way Yamba is now. I wouldn't like to see another Byron Bay or another mini Gold Coast going up in Yamba, where a few people make a lot of money at the detriment to the people who live there and the residents and tourists. I'd like to see it stay very similar, but keep the character, keep that beachside holiday character going. It's important to tourism. Maclean, similar. There's issues there, not quite as intense as Yamba, but it just needs some planning and a bit of bold and brave vision, and just to stick with it and not be pressured to make another intense development site. As I said, where a few make a lot of money, and it just becomes another one of those coastal towns that is ordinary.
Okay. I guess one potential bold, ambitious project would be, and quite a contentious one, would be the second entrance into Yamba. Do you have thoughts on that?
I haven't looked into it in great detail, but maybe that needs to be reviewed again. It's been on the table for, I think, 20 or 30 years, and maybe that as part of an overall vision needs to be looked at.
Okay. Now, obviously, COVID's been a really testing time for everybody in the world. We've experienced quite a unique situation here in the Clarence with going no cases for 18 months and still being subjected to various lockdowns. And then as soon as we do get a little cluster, the New South Wales government announces Freedom Day. Other things, other times have been excluded from the Queensland border bubble. Do you think from a regional perspective the pandemic has been dealt with appropriately?
Look, the COVID pandemic plague, as I refer to it, it's been a major worldwide shift in habits and all sorts of. Each country, each region has had its way of dealing with it. I think the regions have done particularly well, particularly Clarence Valley. We've lived in this little bubble here and been COVID free basically the whole way through, except for the last couple of weeks. Suddenly it's flared up. We noticed a big drop in sales, and people I think were doing the right thing. They were staying at home. They were going into line and getting tested. They wanted to nip this thing in the bud before it expanded too much. So I think the people of the Clarence have responded brilliantly to it. As a whole, look, there's always in hindsight there's things you could have done better, but at the time this is unprecedented sort of stuff, and the government and the council have done the best they could. And really, we've come out of it pretty well.
So pre-COVID, all the talk was about how's places like Grafton going to cope with the bypass, and that's been completely superseded by COVID. How do you think Grafton businesses in general and Clarence Valley businesses have coped? Has there been an element of resilience there?
In regards to COVID?
Yeah,
definitely. Look, there's been a lot of government money thrown at us to help us out, and that's been excellent. There's been businesses that have been marginal anyway that are struggling, but those that, and it's a challenge for any business, and you've just got to be adaptable, and that's the beauty. That's why I like small business. You can change and flip and flop very quickly to adjust to the changing environment, and that's exactly what we've done here. and others up and down the street have as well, and indeed the shopping centres. So really, they've adjusted and they've done very well, and it's a credit to them, and it just shows how the quality of business people in this whole region.
Okay. And do you think is there any other important things you'd like to bring up ahead of the election?
Oh, look, hang on, give us a break just for a split second. Yeah, look, what I'm finding and talking around to people is there's a lack of trust with council at the moment. There's a lot of anger, and what I'd like to see is council gaining back that trust and being seen to work for the people and to look after the people and to respond to their needs. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take a few years. It's taken a few years to develop this trust and lack of trust. So I'd like to see a team of diversified people getting on there, the 9, and we all work together. We all listen to the residents, and we form policy and opinion and action to respond to those people and their needs, and to see council get back to the basics of why they exist. And there's areas where they're dabbling in or they've been in, and they've really, we'd be better off just focusing in on the nuts and bolts of it and get council to do what they're best at.
Okay, and finally, we will see a new mayor for Clarence Valley Council after this election, with current mayor Jim Simmons and previous mayor Richard Williamson both indicating they will not run for another term. If elected, are you willing to throw your hat in the ring for the top job, and why?
Look, definitely not mayor, and probably not deputy mayor, because look, I'm fresh and new at this. If I get on, I'm a newbie. I've got to learn how this system works, and definitely spend 2 or 3 years working that out. There's plenty to do. There's others that I know would be keen on those jobs and would be happy to support them. But yeah, let's learn how the game's played and how we can act best for the people. Maybe if there's a second term, maybe we'll look at something like that then. But, yeah.
Okay, well thanks for joining us, Jeff, and good luck on December the 4th.
Well, thank you very much.